Before you panic about catching a virus, you should know something. About 8% of your DNA is already viral. Not metaphorically, not spiritually, literally. Inside your body right now are ancient pieces of viruses that infected your ancestors millions of years ago. And they never left. They became part of you. You are not just a human being. You are a walking biological collaboration between mammals and ancient infections, which sounds horrifying until you realize it's also the reason you exist. Welcome to biology. It's less tree of life and more group project that got completely out of control. Because evolution doesn't care about purity, it cares about what works. And apparently, viruses worked. Let's rewind. You probably think viruses are simple. Tiny, evil blobs whose life goal is ruining your weekend. Flu, COVID, rabies, absolute psychopaths. But viruses have been around longer than mammals, possibly longer than complex life itself. For hundreds of millions of years, they've been floating around the planet like microscopic hackers, breaking into cells and rewriting code. And sometimes they forgot to leave. See, certain viruses, called retroviruses, have a weird superpower. They copy their genetic code directly into your DNA. Most of the time, your body fights them off, but occasionally one sneaks into a sperm cell or an egg cell. And once that happens, congratulations, the virus just became hereditary. Now your children carry it, and their children, and their children, for millions of years. Scientists call these leftovers endogenous retroviruses, which sound scientific, but really they're genetic fossils, ancient infections still buried inside your genome. Your DNA is basically a biological hard drive full of malware from prehistory. And here's the crazy part, some of it still works. Now, 8% might not sound impressive, but let me ruin your sense of identity for a second. The part of your DNA that actually contains instructions for building proteins, the machinery of your body, is only around 1.5%. That means the viral code inside you is more than 5 times larger than the DNA instructions for being human. Think about that. You contain more ancient virus code than human instruction code. You are outnumbered inside your own genome. At this point, human is starting to feel more like branding. And if that wasn't weird enough, some of those viral genes became useful, extremely useful. One of them literally helped create pregnancy as we know it. I'm serious. There's a viral gene called syncytin, and without it, the placenta doesn't form correctly. No placenta means mammal babies don't properly develop inside the womb, which means without an ancient virus, you don't exist. Your mother doesn't exist. Human civilization doesn't exist. Wi-Fi doesn't exist. Nobody invents pizza rolls, all because one prehistoric virus accidentally uploaded code into a furry creature about 150 million years ago. And evolution looked at it and said, actually, keep that. That's evolution in a nutshell. Not intelligent design, not perfection, just cosmic recycling. Life is basically a giant biological thrift store. And viruses, they've been donating genes for millions of years. Now here's where things become deeply uncomfortable. These viral genes didn't just help with pregnancy. Some help regulate your immune system. Some help embryos defend themselves against other viruses, which is incredible because it means your body uses old viruses to fight new viruses. That's like hiring retired burglars to design your home security system. And scientists suspect some viral genes may even influence brain development, meaning parts of human intelligence might have been shaped by ancient infections. So the next time someone says, humans are completely separate from nature, remind them your consciousness might partially exist because a virus broke into an animal millions of years ago and forgot its USB stick inside. And speaking of USB sticks, viruses are weird, like really weird, because technically, they're not alive. They don't eat. They don't breathe. They don't reproduce on their own. Outside a cell, a virus is basically inert. A packet of instructions, a biological flash drive floating through space and time, looking for compatible hardware, which means your cells are basically running software written by things that aren't even considered alive. That sentence alone should honestly qualify as psychological damage. Your body is not a machine. It's an ecosystem, A crowded apartment building filled with bacteria, fungi, mitochondria, and ancient viral code. You are less individual and more civilization. Every second, millions of microscopic processes are happening inside you without your permission. Your heart beats automatically. Your immune system scans for threats automatically. Your cells repair DNA automatically.
You're not consciously controlling most of your existence. Your body is basically autopilot wrapped around a nervous system that developed anxiety. And buried deep inside that autopilot are ancient viruses. Sleeping, usually, because sometimes they wake back up. Yeah, remember those viral fossils in your DNA? Under stress, radiation, disease, or certain mutations. Some ancient viral sequences can reactivate. Not fully, usually, but fragments can start copying themselves again. Your DNA is basically Jurassic Park, with fewer dinosaurs and more molecular horror. Imagine discovering that your genome contains ancient biological code, older than humanity itself, and occasionally it boots back online. That is not science fiction. That is Tuesday for geneticists. And honestly, the deeper scientists look into biology, the less clean everything becomes. The boundaries start dissolving. What counts as you? Your human cells? What about your gut bacteria? There are trillions of them inside you. Some scientists think they influence mood, hunger, even decision-making. So now your emotions might partially depend on microbes negotiating inside your intestines. Fantastic. And then there are mitochondria, the tiny energy factories inside your cells. Those used to be independent bacteria. Long ago, one cell swallowed another, and instead of digesting it, they formed a partnership. That partnership became complex life, meaning every breath you take is powered by ancient bacteria living inside your cells. Your body is not one organism, it's a peace treaty. And viruses are part of that treaty too, which completely destroys the fantasy that humans are somehow separate from nature. You are nature. Messy nature. Improvised nature. Nature held together with recycled genetic spaghetti code. And honestly, that makes life way more interesting. Because evolution isn't a clean engineering process. It's chaos that accidentally became self-aware. A virus infects a cell. A mutation survives. A weird gene becomes useful. A species changes. Millions of years pass. And eventually, that chaos starts paying taxes and arguing on the internet. That's you. You are ancient biological chaos that learned how to use smartphones. And here's the existential part. The line between enemy and ally in biology is incredibly blurry. The same virus that kills one species might help another evolve. The same genetic mistake that causes disease today might become useful in the future. Biology doesn't care about morality, only survival, only adaptation. Only, did it keep reproducing? That's the only scoreboard evolution has ever used, which means your body, your entire existence, is built from billions of years of successful accidents. Ancient bacteria, ancient viruses, ancient mutations. None of them planned you. And yet, here you are, a conscious primate watching a video about viral DNA while eating snacks engineered by capitalism. Honestly, evolution would be confused too. So the next time you get sick, remember something weird. Some viruses are enemies. Some are ancient partners. And some helped build the very biology that keeps you alive. You are not separate from the viral world. You are partially made of it. A biological merger. A negotiated settlement between species that never meant to cooperate. Your body is not a fortress. It's an ecosystem of temporary alliances. And somewhere deep in your DNA, ancient viral code is still sitting there, quietly reminding you that being human was never a solo project. If you enjoyed this deeply uncomfortable realization, subscribe. I make science strange, funny, and mildly existential. And remember, you are not just descended from your ancestors. You are also carrying the genetic echoes of the things that infected them.